All right, hello everybody. Today we're going to be cooking something. Bacon. So here's what you need to do. First of all, you want to set your oven on medium. And second, you're going to need a frying pan. I'm going to be using this one today. We're going to put it right here. And now we're just going to open up our bacon. And we're going to wait for this to heat up and we'll start cooking the bacon on it. Alright, so I'm just going to open this up. Just going to take it out of the thing. Try not to get it all over the table. Just put it on top of the wrapping. And we're just going to wait for the stove top to warm up and we'll start putting some bacon on. See the smoke starting to come off of it? The steam, so it's starting to get warm. You don't want to touch it because that'll get really hot. And here's a note, you never want to put it on high, not just because it could burn the bacon, but because you're dealing with grease, you never want to have it on high because that will start a fire. And you don't want that, so. Starting to warm up, so you're going to take your strips of bacon and you're just going to put them on. One by one. Just put as much bacon as you can on here. As much as it'll hold. You'll definitely know it's heating up once you start to hear it. Just now starting to hear it a little bit. Like so. And if you want to put more bacon in without burning yourself, what I do is I use a fork. Just move the bacon out of the way like this so you can add more bacon in. Of course, the more you have in here, the more bacon that will be cooked. Just like that. Now we can add one or two more pieces to it. We'll add one more. Alright. Just like that. You see it's really starting to warm up now. You can probably see it a little bit and you can hear it too. It's going to get a little louder. And you also want to have a plate nearby, that way when the bacon is all fully cooked, you can put it on a plate. So we'll leave that aside, we don't need it right at the moment. But that's just for when this bacon's done. So you just want to let it cook a little bit. You can see the steam coming up, it's cooking, you can hear it sizzling. So the bacon is cooking. And after a few minutes, you want to turn all the bacon over and let the other side cook. So okay, just watch it cook. This is the fun part for the video, watching it cook. And also, of course, as the bacon cooks, it'll start to get smaller. That's how you know it's cooking. There's another side note to remember. The bacon will get smaller as it cooks, and then when it's fully cooked, you're going to have smaller, harder pieces of bacon that are going to go on the plate. In the event you want your bacon to cook a little faster, you can probably turn it up a little bit, but never put it all the way on high. That's very, very dangerous. Because bacon has a lot of grease, and if you have a grease fire, by the way, never put that out with water. Baking soda is your best friend for grease fires. In the event that happens, make sure to have baking soda nearby. It's starting to smell it now. That means it's cooking. Just let this cook for a few minutes, and then we'll flip the bacon other way with the fork. See how it's all lightly colored? Once it's fully cooked, it's going to be darker and smaller and harder unless you have a lot of fat in the bacon, which you don't want. You also want to be careful when you're flipping the bacon. Sometimes there might be a lot of grease in there. It might spit up, so you want to be cautious of that so you don't burn yourself. That's happened with me cooking bacon in the past. Like, I've been cooking bacon for a couple months, and since the beginning it's been happening, so I like to be cautious about that stuff. So just a friendly reminder, keep in mind that could happen. Especially when you cook a lot of bacon and grease will form in the pan. You want to be mindful about that. So now we're just going to turn these over. Never do it with your hand because you're going to burn your hand. Use a fork or something. Just turn it around. Flip it over. And you can take a look at how cooked the other side is. May not be fully cooked yet, and that's okay. It's only been like 7.5 minutes since we started cooking the bacon. It's obviously not going to happen right away. I'm just going to flip all of them. Let the other side get cooked. Again, you want to be careful that you don't burn yourself, especially with grease going all over the place. But don't worry, I'm careful, I know what I'm doing, so don't criticize me. Please. Hopefully you can see some parts of the bacon are a little more red. That means they're being cooked. So that means the bacon is cooking. And this is the rest of the bacon in the pack that we had that still needs to be cooked. After all of this is done, you just have to wait, and we wait for the rest of the bacon to cook. Then we'll flip it again, let the other side cook again, and then this side should be pretty well cooked by the time. So we'll give it a couple more minutes, and then that side should be done. But I think it's going to turn out great. I think it's going to be some pretty good bacon. What do you say? I think it's going to turn out really well. This is actually a pretty good bacon. It doesn't fall apart. It's all, the bacon strips are all in one piece. So that's how I like it. You can see there's some grease spitting out, so you want to be mindful of that when you're cooking the bacon. Because let's say you're flipping the bacon over, you don't want to have the grease, spitting back at you. So, because it is really, really hot. And again, in the event you have a grease fire, we always have this nearby, just in case. Just a good safety precaution. Now, if you use water on a grease fire, it's like gasoline. It's going to make the fire grow even bigger. So you never use water on a grease fire. You just pour baking soda everywhere, and that lets the fire out. I'm going to flip it again, see how the other side is. Not bad for that first piece. I think we're making progress. And that's a good thing, folks. That's what you want. Looking really good. I think we're doing a good job. Oh yeah, this one here, this side is pretty well cooked already. So now we just have to let the other side of the bacon cook, and we might have our first batch on the way of being done. See, now it looks even more red because we let the other side cook. See, grease is starting to form. It also helps the bacon to cook, but it can also be a little dangerous if you go near it and it spits at you. You could burn yourself. So again, be mindful of that and have baking soda nearby just in case. Your kitchen will probably fill up with, smoke everywhere. So if you have a smoke alarm nearby, you're probably going to set it off, just like I have a smoke alarm in my bedroom. If I have my door open, it would probably be going off by now. So if you choose to have a smoke alarm in the kitchen, be cautious when you're cooking bacon or whatever, and it fills up smoke around the kitchen, you're going to set off your smoke alarm. So that's another thing to be mindful about. It's just from me having my door open, it'll set off my alarm. So that's why I keep the door shut to avoid that. Plus I have my radio on. I don't want to get a copyright claim on my cooking video, even though it's not that big of a deal. I still don't want to lose monetization because the cooking video is something I want to get monetized. So but if stuff happens, it happens. Not like it affects my channel. Ooh. This piece here looks really good. So what I'm gonna do... Oh, okay, hold on. What I'm gonna do, folks... So do you see how the bacon got smaller, by the way? Do you notice that? Compared to the beginning of the video, the bacon got smaller. So now we're gonna take our plate, put it right here. Now we have the plate. And it looks pretty well cooked. Oh yeah, look at that. It's looking really good. Trying to even all these out if I can. Another thing, sometimes the bacon will stick together. That happens. But take a look at the bacon now compared to when we started. Don't you see how it looks all smaller and it's more red? That means it's cooked. So what we want to do, very carefully, scoop up the bacon. Again, don't criticize me, this is my way of doing it. And then have your plate nearby and you just put it on the plate. first batch of bacon is done. So now we're going to put our other batches on. Again, this time you want to really be careful because you might have a lot of grease spitting at you when you put the bacon in. Now we can throw this away. We don't need that anymore. And the same process repeats as we did cooking this bacon. So you can see how easy it is to cook bacon. My mom likes to cook it in the oven, but I like to cook it on the stovetop. I find it easier, but my mom finds it easier to cook it in the oven. But me, I always like my bacon on the stove. Always. I tried it when my mom made it in the oven. It was okay, but I much prefer it on the stove. That's my type. Bacon may not be healthy for you, but who cares? Bacon's really delicious. But again, be mindful, it has a lot of grease. So if you eat it every day, then that's pretty unhealthy. Because that'll clog your arteries. Especially when you grow up. So, that's another thing to be mindful about, my friends. Don't mind if I do. It's really good. And of course, the video is longer because we're cooking 2 sets of bacon. We already got the first set cooked. Now we're working on the second one. Again, now that there's more grease in here, we got to be even more careful than we were before. Because we're going to have a lot more grease spitting up now. If you can hear the popping, that's the grease spitting up. So that's what I'm talking about. You want to be very, very mindful of that, especially once there's a lot of grease in the pan, because you will burn yourself. Hopefully not too much if you do. It hasn't been the end of the world when it happened with me, but still burns you a little bit. So always be mindful about that and cook your bacon, and hopefully no disasters happen. But just in case, have that baking soda nearby, and you should be okay. Hopefully. As long as things don't get out of control, you should be fine. So we're going to flip it again. Looking good. Looking good. Too bad YouTube has the dumb copyright rule. I would show you guys the music that's playing on the radio right now. It's good music. If you listen to a good station like me, you know what I'm talking about. Good old classics on the radio, you know? And YouTube's copyright system pretty much prevents me from showing that to you. Nothing but a good old Coca-Cola. I think we're almost done here. We just gotta wait a couple more minutes, let the rest of the bacon cook, and we'll be done. I'm gonna take another plate out because my mother will want some. The green plate's mine, and this plate here is my mother's. I think it's only fair if the rest of this and this plate is mine, and the rest of the bacon in here is hers. Because I have quite a bit on mine, and there's only 4 in here, so the rest of this will go to my mom. To make it fair. So I pretty much already made my set of bacon. Now I'm making my mom's set of the bacon. She likes hers pretty well cooked, so I shouldn't be afraid to cook it a little longer. But, yeah. But you can see it's coming along pretty well. And we had no disasters. Hopefully it'll stay that way. I've never had any disasters while cooking bacon. Again, that's how we want it to stay. We don't want nothing bad to happen, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be prepared. It's always good to have those safety precautions in place. We'll just let this cook for a little bit and we'll turn it around again. It should be about done. I'm going to say that the maximum amount that this will take to cook is maybe 15-20 minutes, depending. But, oh wow. Yeah, this is definitely done. Just put those on that plate, turn this around. That's why I like to check every single individual piece, because some parts of the bacon might be more done than others, and I like to just double check that. So maybe I'll give her another piece, because 4 ain't enough and I have more, so that wouldn't be fair. So we'll give her a little more. It's not fair I get like 7-8 pieces and she only gets 4. That's not fair, so I decided to give her a little more from my plate. Okay, I think the bacon is done. So we turned off the burner. We turned it off, so that means we're done cooking. Again, we want to carefully put the bacon on whatever plate we would like to put it on. For example, if I put more on my plate, you want to try not to touch it with your hands because it's really hot. And there you go. That is cooking bacon. Very easy to do, very simple. You can see this is hickory bacon and nice and fully cooked, ready to eat, so bon appetit. So if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, and if you haven't done so already, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. And be sure to have an awesome day. And try this out for yourself. Try cooking out some bacon for yourself and tell me what you think.